blood, bitch!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mr. Smash Every Blazing Record, and I would like to welcome you all to another episode of the Sit Down Show. Joining me today, ladies and gentlemen, is the CEO of XCW, Mr. Fletch. How you doing today, Fletch?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm doing good.
All right, now, for those of you who tuned into the last episode of the Sit Down Show, you may have saw one of the former superstars of XCW, Mr. Chris Jones. He's still heavily involved with XCW, just not in the ring. I want to thank everybody who tuned into that episode. Because of Chris Jones, we're getting some pretty good numbers on our YouTube. So shout out to the homie Chris Jones. But now we are chopping it up with the owner of XCW. So I have some questions here. Is there anything you want to say before we get into the questions?
I just want to give a quick shout out to all the guys in XCW. We did a show yesterday. It was our 19th year anniversary show, and it was mind blowing, man. Like the outpour and support of all these guys, and the continued success of XCW is just I never imagined in my wildest dreams 19 years ago that it would become what it has become. We upped some production stuff yesterday when it comes to editing, and we added pyro to our stage, and we have some other things that we just recently added to the mix. We even did one match in a stadium, an empty stadium, but it was kind of reminiscent of a match that you may have seen in another company. We got two guys fighting in the middle of an empty stadium. So I can't wait for that to get out on YouTube and for everybody to see it in a couple weeks.
That's big, man. Congratulations. Shout out to you guys. I can't wait to see that as well. That's big. I mean, a few of those things that you mentioned, I was actually mentioning to Chris Jones after the interview that we did. So I don't know if maybe he went back and talked to you or if that's something that you already had in the works, but that's what's up, man. I can't wait for that. But we're going to go ahead and get into these questions here. First question is, how long have you been the owner and operator of XCW, and are you the original owner?
Yeah, so myself, Genocide, which I know you're you're pretty familiar with our product, but myself, Genocide, and Dylan Bostic, which Dylan's a pretty big independent name. He's been all over the place. He's appeared on TNA and WWE and even recently AEW, just making like cameo appearances and stuff. But the three of us sat down in early 2003. Genocide and myself were working with another gentleman in a different organization, and we were kind of getting a raw deal there. We looked at that promoter as kind of a selfish promoter, and I wanted to give the opportunity to all the guys on the roster. And so the three of us sat down and started mapping out what would become XCW, and March 8th, 2003, XCW was launched.
All right. December 2003. Wow. You guys been around for a
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah, and the other part to that question was I am the original owner of XCW.
All righty.
Been here since day one.
Day one. All right. Next question is, what is your favorite role to play in the wrestling organization? Is it like referee, commentator, wrestler, backstage? What is it that you really like to do?
So I think it's changed over the years. I think in the early years, I wanted to spend the most time, in the ring with everybody else, getting back in the day, wrestling on the ground. So you're out there just getting dirty, and I mean, it started out as just a bunch of guys having a good time, and it's obviously grown pretty big over the last 5-6 years. But so I think my favorite role these days is I like I like being the executive, the backstage role, the kind of director of what's going on. But to be completely honest with you, my number one passion is commentary. I absolutely love being on commentary. I actually commentated for an independent company locally for about a year in 2016, and I actually was planning on going to college for broadcasting and journalism. Things didn't pan out. I had a family life and I had a bunch of other stuff, financials. So that ended up not working out. But ultimately, yeah, like being an executive and having the opportunity to be in broadcasting is pretty big to me.
Okay, I feel you. Now, like I said, me and Chris Jones, we chopped it up a little bit after his interview went off. I'm not sure if that was something that he mentioned to me in the interview, but yeah, he had mentioned to me that you commentated and did a little refereeing and all kinds of stuff for other promotions as well. So that's what's up.
Yeah,
You've been in the
I was
game
a
for.
referee for about 4.5 years and on the independent circuit as well.
Wow. Okay, you've been in the game, man. You've been doing your thing. So up next, right now, who is the well, this is all time. It could be 2003. It could be 2021. But who, in your opinion, is the greatest and the worst wrestler to lace up in XCW?
Um, well, let's start with the worst. At one time, we had this gentleman. His name was Kevin Kramer, and he was just the absolute worst. We didn't really have the training and all the things that we do nowadays. We're not we're safer now. We've had training. We've done all these things. We have the ring. And back in those days, it was just kind of like, hey, you want to join? Here we are. And yeah, he bumped like a 2x4. I mean, it was the worst. He lasted about two or three shows,
Oh wow.
and then we're like, listen, man, it's just not cutting it. As for the other side of the coin, I have to give it to my man Chris Jones for being one of the best to ever lace up some boots in XCW. And there's a lot of close second, thirds, whatever. Um, there's a who's who of guys here in XCW that are just mind blowing in their performances. But I feel like Chris Jones has always been consistent when it comes to being able to tell a story and perform. I mean, he is the total package wrestler that you look for. Of course, Tommy Merriman, Corey Lee, Cynical, a few other guys come to mind in that same conversation. But I think most people will agree that Chris Jones is the man and has been the man for a long time.
All right. Shout out to Chris Jones once again. Can you still hear me pretty good? I had to adjust the levels because I
Yeah,
had my headphones on.
no, you're good.
All right. So next question. Now I've visited you guys' website. I've watched a lot of you guys' product, and I was wondering, where's the question at? Oh, why doesn't XCW have any merch available?
Um, I think it's more of like the individuals within the shows, within the company. They kind of have their own hand in their merchandise. I know recently, newcomer Jaden Tucker was selling a T-shirt. Corey Lee just recently sold a T-shirt. Chris Jones. So I think it really comes down to the individual person. Um, we have our hands in so many cookie jars already within XCW. So I just kind of leave. I mean, of course, they usually present it to me, and it's kind of a yay or nay on the situation. DJ Wolbert has a T-shirt out right now that's available, but like I said, I think it's more of the individual person that puts their merchandise out there.
Okay, good answer. Now I don't know if you caught up on. I shared a show with you yesterday on Facebook. It's actually another show I have called the PMC Network Breaking News Report. And on that broadcast yesterday, I mentioned that I was going to have you on this show and also DJ Walbert, and I'm supposed to link up with Brogan O'Shea as well. So hopefully we're able to make that happen. I enjoy talking to you guys, just getting the behind the scenes scoop of XCW. Um, so next question I have here is: will XCW ever have an official .com website domain name?
That's something that we have talked about. Unfortunately, right now, I feel like most of our foot traffic comes from our YouTube and Facebook pages. There hasn't been a lot of focus on our website. I feel like it's, especially in the last year or two, it's been kind of a dying breed. Um, it's more used, I think, internally for like our commentators and stuff to kind of go back and look up history and look up specific dates and specific events that have happened throughout the years. And I think it's been used more for that than it has been our fan base, who, in my opinion, kind of keeps up with us most through our other social accounts. Um, we attempted to launch a an app earlier this year. We've run into some snags with that. Hoping to still be able to get an app up and running, and um, it'll pretty much take the place of what the website is now. It's going to be kind of a mirror image, and it's also going to feature some other promotions on the app that XCW have acquired the footage of throughout the years, and it's a way to have a new platform to get new things that we don't have on our YouTube page out to the fans.
Okay. I'm looking forward to that as well. I'm not sure if I had mentioned to Chris Jones about this, but I had my own app at one point in time. They actually were the developers. They, for some reason, are going to shut down their company. So my app is actually going to shut down here pretty soon. It was actually supposed to shut down last month, but for some reason it's still going. But yeah, I feel you. There's always some issues running into different things. Uh, but let's see.
Yeah, we had someone on our end specifically set up this app, and there was an issue with the developer. We had paid the fee to begin the app because you have to have the small fee to start or whatever. And for some reason, something had happened, and it somehow, I don't know, they suspended the account, and then a refund was made, and we're not really sure how that happened. So we're looking into some other developers to get that app out to everybody.
Yeah, I feel you. Okay. So next up, has there ever been a has there ever been a thought to do an actual pay-per-view event? And when I say actual pay-per-view, I mean like actually being able to charge the viewers.
Um, yeah, I think it's been discussed a little bit. As it has like live event, like live attendance, um, like to sell tickets and stuff. Um, for the ticket part, like the live crowd, it's a little tough. There's a lot of regulations in our state that kind of prevent us from being able to do a lot of those things without a bunch of documentation and LLCs and stuff like that that would have to be provided. So that's a little tough. As for the pay per view aspect, I'm not sure we have looked too much into that. Um, it's been thrown out there. It's been talked about. Um, Up until maybe the last year or so, we weren't necessarily equipped to provide that. I think that we're better off in production. I've had a lot of help from Blackheart on his end with production and stuff. So that may be something that we could look at in the future as something to do. Maybe even present some of our bigger shows like Extreme King this June or August Summer Mania.
Okay, and the reason I mentioned that is because I used to do music, but there was a time where I was actually putting together these shows at this local building over here, and the whole purpose of that was I ended up acquiring like this program that I'm using to do this interview with you. I had acquired that at the time and some different cameras and stuff like that. So I was gonna live stream these shows, but I was gonna do them on pay per view. Now, in order to do the pay per view, what I'm talking about, you don't actually have to stream live. Like, it's a YouTube type thing where basically you just upload your video, but instead of uploading it as like a public video, you upload it as unlisted, so that way people can't find it if they type it in. And then you take the code from it, and then you paste the code into this other website, and then it allows you to sell the video. So basically, your video will still be on YouTube, but all the views would come from the people who actually purchase it. Now, it's a hit or a miss because when I was doing that, a lot of people they feel like they don't want to pay for certain products. So I mean, if you did do it, of course, you probably want to do one of your bigger shows where like it's gonna be something that you know people are really gonna be wanting to look into. But that's just a thought, you know, it's just something to throw out there. Um, so next question is, what's your favorite XCW sideshow? I know you guys have a whole bunch of different sideshows currently.
Um, well, obviously, I think No False Finish is going to be a front runner for everybody. I feel like Chris Jones is always the guy to get the hard hitting questions. He wants to put on the best show ever, and he makes my life as a producer so easy because he maps out an entire season before it even starts. I always say, hey, 10 episodes, this is your season. And he's got every question, every guest mapped out ahead of time. So, from a producer standpoint, definitely No False is it. But me personally, we've just recently seen a new XCW show kind of hit the YouTube page, and that's XCW Showtime. And it's our first true XCW documentary series, and it really shows the behind the scenes. And I'm hoping that it gives the fans a new outlook on all the hard work and all the dedication from our crew that helped make XCW possible. Each and every time that we post new programming on our YouTube page. So we have a couple of showtimes actually coming up. We have a showtime coming up this Thursday, and that is going behind the scenes of Cold Day in Hell from February. And then we also filmed yesterday during XCW Glory for an upcoming episode of Showtime. So Showtime has definitely become one of my favorite sub shows.
All right. I would say that probably I actually watch the what's the one where you guys are all at the round table?
Oh, Men of Honor.
Men of Honor. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of Men of Honor lately, and I watch No False Finish as well. And I actually caught the recall. Is it? I caught that one.
Recall, yeah, yeah, that's another new program that we just started recently, and um, right now I have 5 seasons mapped out for that show. So hopefully, it does well. And then there's been rumblings and there's been talks about bringing back a show that we used to do on Facebook called XCW Rundown, but not a lot of details on that right now.
All right. Next question is: do you, as like a backyard wrestler, or just as a wrestler in general, do you watch other backyard wrestling promotions? And if so, what are some of your favorites?
Absolutely. Not only from a standpoint of trying to come up with what's next for our own brand. We don't necessarily try to mimic or copy other companies, but we definitely want to see what's out there. We want to see what we're doing compared to other programming. I'm a big fan of VBW
I've seen them.
um, out of Canada. Uh, I think they're Vancouver, British Columbia wrestling, and I think they're defunct now. I don't think that they're still in business, but I absolutely loved their programming. I just recently stumbled across this company called I think it's ESW. Myself and Brady Branson were talking about that last night, and they have a couple guys there, super talented, and they have a looks like a really good production setup and everything. And then I've watched a little bit of TBW, Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, recently. Um, I feel like I'm not a big fan. If you watch XCW, I feel like we do a pretty good job of coming up with our own characters and trying to be as creative as possible without it reflecting on another character. Or we try to be our own characters. We try to create our own personas, our own gimmicks. There's a couple on there that I feel like they're kind of just like mimicking like a Ric Flair, and I'm not a big fan of that. But I just recently started branching out more within these other backyard companies, and Brady Branson's the man who's always scoping out other companies and getting with me and saying, "Hey, look at what these guys are doing." So
All right, it's nice to know that you actually watch other products and you don't just stay complacent with what you guys are doing. It's always good to try to branch out a little bit. So next question I have here is, what's your favorite match type, and who has been your greatest opponent?
oh boy, match type's tough. There's so many different match types that we've created and that we've done. I think um, a couple of matches that we do that's kind of exclusive to XW that no one else does. We've really taken the cake in the last few years. We have this tag team match. It's called Pandora's Box, and basically what it is we have two tag teams, 4 men in the ring. You can eliminate one person. Well, they're not technically eliminated. So you pin one guy, he goes into a penalty box for 2 minutes. Now it's a 2-on-1 situation with you and the other team. Um, if you pin that second person before the 2 minutes is up, that team is eliminated. You win the match. However, if the 2 minutes expire and that person comes back into the match, they get to unlock something from Pandora's box. They can bring in any weapon in which that box that they were locked in. That comes into play into the match, and I think that is something super creative I've never seen anywhere else. And then our own take on an elimination chamber. We have Elimination Chained, which you may have seen on our Viewers' Choice Awards. Where you got 2 guys in the ring, you got 4 guys locked on the outside, and then every 5 minutes someone is unchained and brought into the match. And so those are always cool to me, but I'm still old school. I am a big fan of the Extreme King Battle Royal.
All right. So before we get away from this question, there's something that I want to. I'm gonna have to step off camera here for a second, but there's something I want to grab and show you. Now, as I mentioned to Chris Jones, I'm actually getting ready to try to start my own wrestling company. I didn't really intend for it to be a backyard wrestling company, but I mean, it seems like I may have to try something like that just to get things going, just to get the name going and stuff like that. But I'm trying to really do a whole big production with it and stuff. But let me step off camera really quick, and I'm gonna grab something. All right, so. Like I said, I'm getting ready to try to start my own company, and the reason I wanted to get you before we jumped away from that the match type, and this isn't really like a match type, but so you probably won't be able to see it that good because my green screen. Now, this is one of my championships for the company I plan to start. It's called Make or Break Championship Wrestling, or MOBCW. Now, this championship right here, I call the Undefeated Championship. Now, I wanted to get your take on this. So, in order for a person to win this championship, they have to be undefeated in one-on-one competition. Now, the title can only be defended in one-on-one competition, but of course, once you lose a match, then you're no longer eligible to challenge for it, being that you're no longer undefeated. So this is a title where it's like, if you get it, you gotta get it and run with it, and try to remain with it as long as you can, because once you lose it, there's no second chances to ever claim it again. So what do you think about something like this?
It's innovative, and that's one thing that I think that a lot of people can appreciate when they watch XCW. Is we try to be as creative and innovative as possible, and I love that. I love it when you can attempt to try something new and get it out there. So, from an executive's standpoint, I think it'll be tough to keep that belt in rotation, because it's going to be hard to try to keep people invested in one person being undefeated. Um, and if the storytelling is good and the writing's good, and you constantly have new talent coming in, I definitely think that is really innovative. It's really creative, and best of luck. I would love to see another brand out there for me to enjoy. So
All right, man.
I hope for the best.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. I definitely wanted to get some take on that because I think I've probably mentioned that title to a couple other people, but nobody that I really talk to actually even watches wrestling. You know, they're not a fan. So when you're trying to talk to somebody who isn't even a fan of something that you're talking about, it just goes in one ear and out the other to a lot of people. But yeah, man, it's good to get perspective on that because, like you said, I mean, it is going to be kind of tough trying to keep a whole lot of different talent coming in to be able to challenge that guy who's holding that belt. So the writing's going to have to be really good. We're going to have to keep a lot of new talent coming in, make sure people aren't getting injured and stuff like that. So, yeah, I appreciate your take on that one.
Yeah, we have a championship in our organization as well. Like I said, you probably are a little familiar with it, and it's the New Age Championship. And the New Age has had an interesting concept where you don't see contenders matches and stuff like that when it comes to the New Age Championship because if the New Age champion is in the match, the title is on the line all the time. Um, so it's a bit of like a 24/7 kind of thing,
Yeah, that's
but
kind of what they said it is. It's like a 24/7 title, basically, but at the same time,
right.
it's like a TV title slash 24/7, whatever.
But unfortunately, the New Age title's kind of steered away from that because I mean, if you're put into a situation where the New Age champion's going one on one with like per se the international champion, which is a title of a higher caliber, I kind of feel like the New Age title has lost some of that luster. So, you want an exclusive? I can give you some news that no one else has got.
Yes, sir. Right here on the show. Let's go.
All right, so starting at Allegiance, the New Age Championship will change a little bit. So the New Age Championship, we're going to present a brand new title and everything, and the title is going to be once you're champion, you have the championship. You have to defend that champion. If you successfully defend the championship 7 times in a row, then you can take that opportunity to cash in for a championship of a higher caliber. So that gives the opportunity for those guys to try to ensure that they can win 7 straight matches. The kicker to that is also each of these matches are going to have 10-minute time limits. So if you can survive the 10 minutes without being pinned, it also counts for you getting one step closer to cashing in your opportunity.
Wow, that's innovative right there. I can't wait to see that. I think I've heard you guys mentioning something about a new title coming, but you guys didn't give all the details. So I'm looking forward to that as well, man. You guys are making a whole lot of changes over there, a whole lot of big things. I'm ready for the next episode. Speaking of the next episode, I'm gonna go ahead and cut over to this graphic really quick if I have things set up correctly. Let me see what I need to press. I'll be trying to set this thing up. Let me see. Is it? You still there, Fletch?
Yep, I'm here.
All right. Well, for some reason my thing ain't working, so let me try to. Anyways, all right. So let me bring up this image really quick. All right. This is you guys' next event, XCW Glory. Is there anything that you can tell us about this upcoming event? Any particular matches we should be looking out for, or just anything that's going to make us want to tune into that next event?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of our bigger events of the year. It's our 19th anniversary show. We did the show yesterday, so I'm going to try not to give anything away. But we have Void going one-on-one with Alex Cardona Thompson for the New Age Championship, and they're going to be doing that in a first-ever Field of Fatality match. And that was something that we mentioned at the top of the show, the two guys fighting in an empty football arena, a football stadium. So that you have to look forward to. We also have a dog collar chain match between the brand new XCW Extreme Champion Deacon Storm, and he's going to be defending against Jesse Justice. the man he defeated at Cold Day in Hell. And so they have the rematch. They're going to both have dog collars on. They're going to be attached with chains, and it should be a brutal match. And Jesse Justice is a pretty innovative guy, and he's very unorthodox. So he's an interesting watch. And then DJ Wolbert being back, and you can expect to see him on Corey Lee's STFU Stars Talking for You program sometime at the top of the show. So those are the couple things that I can give away without spoiling anything. But should be up not this coming Thursday, but the following Thursday, and I can get that date for you. I believe it would be so the premiere date for that would be March 25th at 8 p.m. on YouTube. XC Wrestling One.
All right. Oh, excuse me. So, Fletch, what I'm gonna actually do, you're not on any time limit, are you?
No.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is, because I had things all set up before we started the show, but for some reason my little device here isn't working correctly. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to stop this episode, but we're going to keep going. I don't want you to hang up or anything like that. I'm just going to stop the recording, and then once I fix this, then we'll pick up where we left off. So you just stay right there. Let me stop this, because there's something that I wanted to do, and in order for me to do it, I need to be able to use my little device right here. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the first time I've ever done something like this, but you guys just hold up a second. We will cut back into this, and you won't miss a thing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back. I was trying to set up my little device here. Unfortunately, it's not working correctly. Fortunately, it's not working correctly, but we're going to go ahead and continue this interview with the homie Fletch. The next question I have for you is, do you prefer to play a heel character or a babyface?
So that one's pretty easy for me. I love being a heel. I love antagonizing people. I love playing, I'm playing scared to the baby faces. Definitely being a heel is my forte.
Okay. Next question I have for you is, what's your favorite finishing move?
Oh boy. I, I mean, I hate to pat myself on the back, but I feel like I have a pretty good finish in the days. And then I had another finishing move before that, the Suicide Effect, and at our Viewers' Choice Awards, it won Best Finishing Move a few times. But you have to appreciate Corey Lee's FML. It comes out of nowhere.
Yeah. All right. So this next part is actually pretty much the last thing I had for you. And being that my little device isn't working, as I mentioned to you before we came back on camera, I'm going to have to sit down and control things from my little keyboard. But I wanted to try to play a little game with you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read off some matches that occurred in XCW. And they're probably from about the last 5 years or so. And I want to see if you can tell me who was the one who came out on top in that match.
Oh wow, okay.
All right,
This
so
should be tough.
give me a second. Let me figure out how I'm going to operate this. All right, so we have a little scoreboard here. I only have about 5 questions. So the first one is XCW Cold Day in Hell 2021. You had Psycor versus Brady Branson. Who came out on top?
um, well, technically, Psycor put Brady Branson to the table first, but the referee didn't see it, so Brady Branson retains the XCW title.
All right, correct. Next, you had XCW Last Laugh 2020. Brogan O'Shea versus Deacon Storm.
Oh boy. Let's see. So that was a beat the clock. So, I believe Brogan O'Shea would come out on top in that one.
Yes, he did. Correct. All right, up next. XCW Ignition 2019. You had Jesse Justice versus Patrick O'Reilly.
Oh boy, here's where it starts getting a little fuzzy. So let's see, 2019 Ignition. I'm gonna have to go with Jesse Justice.
Correct. All right. Number 4. We had XCW Hellfire 2018. Yourself and Hazard versus Patrick O'Reilly and Venom.
Oh, boy, you're really getting those tough ones. I'm gonna have to say Patrick and Venom.
Incorrect.
Ah,
It was actually you and Hazard. So last one here.
shows my confidence in myself, huh?
Last one we got XCW Glory Reunion 2017. Austin Chaos versus Chris Jones.
With the interference of the Gabe, that would have been Chris Jones over Austin Chaos.
Correct. So you got 4 out of 5. Congratulations. This is something that I've never done before. Just, trying to see how your memory is, I guess. And because you took time to do that, I'm actually going to send you something of mine, like one of my hoodies or a hat, or I'm going to send you something, even just for being a guest on the show. But congratulations. Your memory isn't as bad as probably as mine is, because I wouldn't have been able to do that. But is there anything that you want to say, anybody you want to shout out, or anything that you would like to plug before we go ahead and close off this show?
Um, well, obviously, I want everybody to get out there, get on XCW socials. We are on TikTok, and that is XCW XC Wrestling One. And then also subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is also XC Wrestling One. We have a couple premieres coming up. This coming Thursday, we will have a new episode of Showtime where we go behind the scenes from Cold Day in Hell, and that date is on March 18th at 8 p.m. on our YouTube channel. And then on March 25th, we'll be presenting to you XCW Glory, and then every 2 weeks after that, we'll have a brand new episode. So. Definitely check those out. Facebook is XCW Shelbyville. Go like us up. Go subscribe. Follow us. Get it all out there. And then just a shout out to my crew. Like I said, I think right now the XCW crew was one of the tightest knit crews we've ever had in 19 years, and they continue to bust ass and produce the best show possible. And I enjoy every single second of being with those guys. They really put a lot on the table. We got a lot of other guys that are training right now that you're not even seeing on camera. And one is even my cousin. Uh, and hopefully we can see them debut into the XCW roster here pretty soon. And yeah, just a shout out to all the guys that help make XCW possible, and you for continuing to support our show and to help us get out there and have us as a guest on yours.
Oh, no problem, man. Anytime. Like I said, I do other things. I mentioned to Chris Jones that I actually had a game show going for a while. It's still actually going, but for some reason the momentum died down behind it. We did like 4 seasons, and then everybody just kind of slowly quieted and just didn't want to play anymore. But we have some other things that we do over here, so you guys are more than welcome to join me on any other show. Also, I want to mention to you that this episode right here will be available on YouTube. It'll be available on my Facebook, but it'll also be available on my UTV channel and on my Roku channel. So if you have a Roku device, you can go download the PMC ENT Network channel. All these episodes are up there. We have an Amazon Fire channel as well. So if you have an Amazon Fire Stick or TV or whatever, you can go and download our PMC ENT channel over there as well. And with that channel over there on Amazon, all you get is the YouTube content. But if you get the Roku channel, then it has this content. It has a whole bunch of other stuff that probably don't make it to YouTube sometimes. But anything else you want to say, or
No, I think we're good. I'll definitely make sure that there's some links on our XCW Facebook page as well, so that our fans can see the episodes of your shows with the guests that you have on here.
so what I want you to do is after we close out over here, if you would send me all your links that you want me to post in the comments or like in the description of the video, and I'll make sure that those get posted up there. But if that's gonna do it for Mr. Fletch, I appreciate you and I thank you for joining me today. Hopefully, I'll be able to catch up with Brogan O'Shea and DJ Wahlberg later on in the future. But I appreciate you for taking your time out of your day to join me. Hopefully, I was able to get down some questions that maybe you never got before, because I know you guys do like Men of Honor and all these different side shows where you probably go over a lot of the stuff I just asked. So hopefully I was able to throw something out there that you hadn't been asked before, but if that's going to do it for you, that's going to do it for me. My name is Mr. Smash Every Blazing Record, and I want to thank you guys for watching another episode of the Sit Down